ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome aboard the I-16 in Arcade. Now I know I don't post arcade videos very often. Some people get the opinion that I must not like it. It's not the case. I do enjoy flying an arcade battle every now and again. It's just realistic's my thing, and realistic is the main focus of the channel. Although I like to throw up an arcade every now and again. This time, well, this wasn't just for a little bit of fun. I'm actually in this battle for a purpose. As many of you will know, in patch 1.43, Gaijin made modifications to the fuel injection systems on a large number of aircraft within the game, and as a result, these aircraft lost access to that upgrade. Now, to get these upgrades back, all you had to do is take these planes into battle and earn at least 1 RP. This is, well, for most people it would have been too much of a problem, but when you looked at my lineup and realised that every single aircraft that they tinkered with was an aircraft that I had put a spade on previously, I had quite a number of aircraft to get back. So Arcade in this situation was actually the best way to get all of these fuel injection systems returned to me. And that's precisely what I'm doing here. This is the I-16 Type 18, and it is one of 2 aircraft that I have in the lineup that I'm trying to get the fuel injection modules back on at the moment. Now, the second one is the BB-1. The third aircraft in my lineup for this is actually an I-16 that I didn't realise was on the queue, the Type 5. This is an I-16 that I haven't actually flown before. I didn't realise it existed, so I've thrown it in as a, well, I'll take it out for a test run. It's the right battle rating, so might as well put it in the line. And of course, this battle was the standard arcade chaos. I-16's low levels. I've already taken out a BF-110, got an Otsu in front that I'm honestly not entirely sure what the hell it's doing. Not dying as fast as I would like as it would turn out, but the I-16 is just insane in arcade. The roll rate is ridiculous. Make a second pass, put him down, move on. Take a hit from the side, unsure exactly what it is. I should probably point out at this moment this is the first time flying arcade again in 3 months, and the last time I was flying arcade jets. So it was a HE-51, it slipped up from behind. Let's get a beat on it at the moment. It might seem like I'm clubbing baby seals at the moment, and in truth I am. And this was just a little bit of fun. My purpose for having this aircraft on this match, win or lose, ended the second I put a shot into that BF-110 at the start of the match. I only need 1 RP to unlock the fuel injection systems and get them back on the plane. So everything else here is just dicking around, basically. That said, this was a lot of fun, but there is a purpose to me showing this video, and this is the second plane that I bring out. But first, I gotta go kill some more people. We've got CR-42s ahead, targets everywhere. Who to go for? CR-42, there's an I-16 there. Yak-1. That seems like a fairer fight. Shots through, take the lead, and set him on fire. And put some extra shots into him because this is arcade and that is a Russian aircraft on fire, so I'm fully expecting that to go out at any moment. And it's still flying, so I'm getting ready to put shots into him again. He finally goes down. Thank Christ for that. Take a big hit from behind. Not really concerned at all, and yes, I nearly did just ram that guy. BF-110, I'll have another shot at you. Just spraying a little bit here, stealth rounds on, and I am not paying any attention to anything but that dot at the moment. Basically, I'm flying like an absolute scrub at the moment. I really need to start concentrating. So just continuing my attack on the BF-110, however I see a Hurricane coming in from the side. He would be a much easier target to kill in the short form, so I'll take him first. I don't notice immediately, but I've actually just taken a massive hit of rounds from the sides, and I'm not entirely sure what from, and it's fried my engine completely. So go around after the Hurricane. Reloaded. Alright. Shots in, and he's fireballed, and this is the moment that I've just realised my engine is about to die. Okay, alright, drop landing gear. You know what? On the ground, a little bit of bounce, and bip, I'm a tank. Got him, come on, I can get the second one, no I can't get the second one, well. And so, with my first I-16 dead, I decided to bring out a second one. This is the I-16 Type 5, and this is the first time I've ever flown it. I figured I'd bring it out for a bit of a laugh. It's a, 1.7 battle rating I-16, how good can it be? Yeah, you've got to watch this thing. Just watch the roll rate on this plane. It is just... Did I just turn or did the plane teleport in on itself? this thing will outroll a Focke-Wulf 190. Now of course this plane is absolutely stock, so I wasn't expecting much in the way of performance from it, but this plane is absolutely stock. The stock ammunition for the guns is not particularly great, but the actual plane itself, it feels like, freak, that was close. Gotta love some arcade insanity. I can't understand how some people just don't find this fun. I know realistic it is not, but it's fun. Just look at that roll rate. This poor yak does, or the poor lag just has no friggin' idea which way I'm about to turn. This thing is an I-16, this thing's a goddamn TIE fighter, that's what it is. Although it does have one thing that's rather notable. It has the same problem that all the I-16s do when they're stock. Their elevators are not particularly responsive, so trying to do sharp turns against aircraft that do have very good elevation authority it's not going to work out well for you in this plane. Even in arcade it won't. Just roll out of the way. Now I do have to be honest with you guys, why I do enjoy a game of arcade every now and again, having to use it to get all my injection systems back was something that I was not looking forward to. The reason why arcade is the easiest way to do it is because of the sheer number of aircraft that I can rack up at once. I did almost every aircraft in the US tree in one battle. That said, however, while I was expecting a torturous grind across the board, I ended up having a really good time getting all the injections back. The only ones I didn't particularly enjoy was out of the US tree, getting the injection systems back on the B-17s, because B-17s in arcade, I know they're easier to kill these days, but it's still a B-17 in arcade. Thankfully, when I did do the B-17s, it was on a domination map, so I didn't have to go base bombing. Once again, have the engine shot out. That's something that's been a thing for the I-16s for a long time. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to land it, and this guy wasn't about to let me anyway, and that was close to a prop strike. Well, I enjoyed that thing. I'm going to come back to it later, but first, I've got a BB-1 to take care of. But yes, as I was saying, having to put in a round of arcade in just about every nation in the game to get all those injection systems back as efficiently as I possibly could, I was really enjoying myself. It was really getting me back into flying arcade, so I think I'm going to have to do more of this. At the very least, it was nice to be able to fly at some of the aircraft that I flew out, had to get the injection systems back on, and not wind up on the same maps that I always wind up on. Honestly, that's something that's been getting on my nerves recently, even more than the matchmaking, the flight and damage models. I'm just sick and tired of seeing Hokkaido over and over again. I'm sick and tired of hitting the to-go button on my jets and winding up in Korea every single time. There's some beautiful maps in this game. Why the hell don't we have access to them? And there's a fuel injection system unlocked on the BB-1. I mean, let's face it, high-level Era 5 is a fantasy anyway. We've got the 262 variants, 163s, KI-200s, all duking it out with F-86 Sabres, F-9F Panthers, MiG-15s and the MiG-15 Beers. The CL-13A, a Commonwealth variant of the F-86 Sabre, is flying with the Warsaw side, or Warsaw and Axis forces. If we're going to play fantasy battles with the aircraft, why do we have to play on the maps that these planes, or some of these planes, realistically flew on? Why can't we throw some other stuff in? We have some really nice maps at the moment. Spain is one of the first ones that comes to mind. It is a massive map. It would be ideal for a massive jet battle, and it is really beautiful. I could see myself flying across that map in a Sabre or a MiG. It's only available to low-level aircraft. Thankfully, arcade is throwing a little bit of variance up and allowing me to keep my sanity, and I dare anybody to not dive through the caves of Pacific Hidden Base in an F-86 Sabre or a CL-13 at over 1,000 kilometers an hour and not smile. So, that was the end of the arcade battle. 4 kills, 5 assists, and 1 ground target that I took out in tank mode in exchange for 2 aircraft. I'm very, very, very rusty. But that Type 5 I-16 got me very, very, very interested for a moment. This thing was insane. I've never seen a roll rate that high before. There's just something slightly wrong with it at the moment. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's see how this thing does in realistic. So of course, I started trying to get all my fuel injection systems back on my planes to get away from jet battles for a little bit and away from Korea. I find a plane that I like that I haven't flown before, I put it in my lineup, I hit the 2 battle button in realistic battle, and what map do I get? Korea. Some days I feel like War Thunder is really just trolling my ass. Well, regardless, that arcade battle was enough to get nearly 2/3 of the upgrades for the aircraft, so it's sitting pretty at the moment. I'm above the enemy and my first target's a pea shooter, so all in all, this isn't looking too bad. I don't really want to go killing pea shooters though, I want to find something a little bit more interesting. We've got a buffalo off to our right hand side, and we'll see what's down below us. And apparently the answer to that question is not one or two aircraft, but the whole enemy team. We've got an F2A, that pea shooter was the one going through, there's P-36, another pea shooter. Pea shooters bloody everywhere. Well, this thing's battle rating is barely higher than a reserve aircraft anyway, so I suppose I can start thinning them out. Try and get shots through on this one. Nope, he turned in too tightly, that's alright. I'll go for the second one, it's an M2, that's the one with the 50 caliber machine gun. Take the angle and re-dive. You can hear that 50 caliber going off in the background. Some shots in. It's funny, I seem to get more reliable critical hits in realistic battle than I do in arcade now. So, that was my first kill. Who's next? More pea shooters. How many pea shooters do they bloody have? It looks like the enemy team was nothing more than 2 buffaloes, a hawk, and an entire squadron of P-26 pea shooters. That seems to be the entire composition of the enemy team. There's nothing else, so I guess I'll go after this poor PlayStation player next. Score hits at 500, he dips down into a dive, move to follow, just pull the distance in on him. This thing's faster, so that's not particularly difficult. Just getting out my lead. And there's the pilot kill. Okay, he's dead. He really didn't do much in the way of manoeuvring. I'm actually starting to wonder whether or not some of those arcade players I was fighting against before actually followed me here. But regardless, after a lot of testing, this seems to be the standard matchmaking that this particular I-16 gets on a regular basis. It's also the only I-16 that actually has a full enclosed cockpit. I think that's worth mentioning, as it does make it a little bit unique. With so many I-16s in the game, anything to set itself apart is an important thing. And it was at this moment that I actually realised, yes, in fact, all the players on the enemy team have followed me from arcade. Now, this point A in the centre of the map, on Korea, looks like a runway, but it's not a runway. You can't cap it. Arcade players, that runway can only be taken by ground forces. Now, running into one of those is funny, until you see a second pea shooter try and do exactly the same thing. That is not a runway that you can cap. This is not domination. Now, before everyone barrages me about breaking my own rules and shooting an aircraft that was on the runway, as I just said, that is not a runway, that is a ground forces capture point, and neither one of them were actually on the ground at the time. They both had their wheels off the ground when I shot them. And that was also pretty much the end of the match. There was only 3 players left after this. A buffalo off the side, he gets taken out in just the next few seconds. There are 2 more players that I never see for the entire match, who, well, one crashes apparently back on the runway, back at their base, another one gets shot down out of line of sight while I'm RTB, so that's this battle over. So, results for the match: 4 kills, first place. I did take out 1 ground target. They were all pea shooters. It really was a seal clubbing match, but this is a low level I-16. That's pretty much what they do. I don't particularly like the matchmaking for them, but at the same time, this plane facing aircraft above it would get slaughtered, so I'm not entirely sure where you would put the bloody thing. So yeah, 2 battles to spade this aircraft, 1 in arcade, 1 in realistic, and it's not a bad little buzzbox. I did enjoy flying around in it. I think most of its fun's going to come from arcade with that ridiculous roll rate that it has. So, one final thing before I sign off. Now, those of you who have been watching my videos for a while and paying attention would notice a difference in the voice quality. The new microphone has arrived. The Blue Snowball is now sitting on the desk. I am not entirely sure I'm happy with the quality of it at this time. All the settings for it appear to be about as good as you can get. There's not really a lot in the way of drivers, or, well, actually there's nothing in the way of drivers for it, nothing in the way of settings, so I've had to tune it the best I can. Now, I've ran 2 different microphone positions during this video. I made a changeover at a point, which I will mark. Give me your feedback on what you think of the mic. At the moment, Quality-wise, it's pretty good. All the popping's gone, the crackling, the horrible background noise has all been eliminated. The main thing I'm worried about now is actually the quality of the voice. I just don't think I sound right. But let me know in the comments what you think. Until next time, ladies and gents, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.